Which conspiracy theory do you believe is true? I've always thought that competition reality shows purposefully send someone home each season that deserves to stay, so that people get mad and talk about it online and get other people interested in watching the show. I think they have who they already want to win at the beginning. Last season of MasterChef was so obvious from the beginning who they wanted to win. I can't even remember her name because she wasn't impressive at all and should have gone home early in the competition. The kid who should have won, Nick, was so much more talented, creative, and risky, but they didn't want him to win because he comes from a wealthy family and the woman who did win came from a poor background and has a dead mom. Edit. Kate came edit too. My phone is being annoying and won't take me directly to responses to this comment, so hopefully the person who mentioned the raw fish sees this. I'm not sure it was raw. That was a white fish. White fish isn't red like that when it's raw. I seriously believe it was a bloodline. Also, if he treated all of the pieces of fish exactly the same size, same amount of time in fridge, same time being cooked, it makes no sense that one of the three he served was raw. Some people have suggested that it was a piece planted by producers. I'm not sure they would go that far to actively sabotage somebody who was on their way to winner. I do believe it was a bloodline, which Aaron should have known. My wife likes chopped and stuff, and those duckers can't make a sandwich without telling everyone about their dead turtle and how it inspired them to cook. Have you ever watched America's Got Talent or any of the other singing or talent type shows? If you don't have a sob story, you'll probably never make it past the tryouts. I honestly can't stand that show anymore due to every single person having some kind of sob story. I don't care what your story is, I just want to see people do cool shit. I'm tempted to believe the one about Michael Jordan's first retirement being a secret suspension for betting on games. If I was Michael Jordan, I would bet on my games too. I kinda think he was approached by organized crime and they attempted to extort him into losing games or maybe even the finals one year. The timing of his father's death is too creepy. I hear his pops was murdered because of Mike's gambling debts. That's the darker side of the conspiracy theory, but is part of it. MJ is a known competitive junkie and there are stories of him betting thousands of dollars on each hole if you golf with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he gambled on games, and got caught. The NBA knew they'd be dumb to Pete Rose him, so he retires for a year then comes back. But MJ's current net worth is $2.1 billion, so to put his gambling on golf in perspective, he could bet $10,000 on each hole and that would be the equivalent of me betting a $1 a hole. Edit, better number, 50 cents, since the median's net worth is just shy of $100,000. Which would make it hard for me to believe his dad was killed over his gambling. If he lost, he could just pay the debt, right? Unless he was like, I bet you my dad's life that I'm gonna hit a hole in one right here. More like win the game but don't blow the +9 spread or else, and Jordan balled out and won by 30. There are only 42 questions ever asked on this sub and they are randomly posted by a bot. I think the bot needs work though. This one was just asked 2 days ago. What conspiracy theory do you believe to be true? Men, what makes a woman sexy? Women, what makes a man sexy? You can send one message to everyone, what would it be? Americans, what shocked you when traveling abroad? Non-Americans, what shocked you about the United States? If every state represented something dumb, what would your state be? Instead of hell convenience stores, what would heckin' convenience stores have? What are your dating red flags? What is a story you have to tell that doesn't fit any AskReddit questions? I think I can get all 42. Insert profession of Reddit. What have you seen at work that make you say insert shocked, disgusted, happy phrase? Top comment, I have told this story before. So first of all, I am not a insert profession but my insert relative or friend is, and he told me this insert totally unrelated story from another subreddit. Second top comment, completely made up story based entirely on movie cliques which has lots of Reddit gold and comments kissing their ass. You're a wonderful human being. Who's cutting onions? That Corey Feldman is right and there is a casting couch for kids in Hollywood to get roles and parents are too blinded by the thought of stardom that they turned a blind eye in the past. I really hope it isn't true, but that Harvey Weinstein and the movie Bombshell make me fearful that scum is everywhere in that town. Crazy part about this is that both Shirley Temple and Judy Garland brought it to light decades ago and we still don't care, as a society, to do anything about it. Add what happened to Drew Barrymore. Brought to club as a kid where drugs and alcohol were flowing. Dude, I read she was addicted at 9. 9 WTF. You should read what drugs Judy Garland was given as a child. Didn't they start her smoking on the set of Wizard so she wouldn't gain weight? Read Get Happy by Gerald Clark for a truly sensitive and heartbreaking account of Judy's life. She was given pep pills or amphetamines in the morning by the studio to give her endless energy for grueling hours of takes and fittings and rehearsals. Then she was given downers or sleeping pills at night to be rested. This went on for years. The most heartbreaking story is that when Judy was a newlywed with her first husband, she soon became pregnant. She'd always wanted to be a mother and was overjoyed. However, the studio and her own mother forced her to have an abortion because they felt that having a baby would ruin her image. It haunted Judy the rest of her life. The first NBA draft lottery was rigged to give Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. On the video, the commissioner pulls an envelope out with a clearly bent corner and sighs a huge sigh of relief when he reads what's inside. Well, that worked out really well for them. Former Knicks fan. Former Knicks fan, you mean there are current Knicks fans? Grammar. That every few weeks this question is posted by them to check if we've discovered them yet. Click on the emoji. Till you can hide a link in an emoji. Another thing they did not want you to know. Throwback Thursday was invented so that social media apps, mainly Facebook, could build and develop facial recognition technology showing the faces of people over time. Edit, a word edit too. There are a lot of people replying who don't understand. A huge percentage of Facebook users these days are your parents, uncles, aunts and grandparents who have, literally, decades worth of printed photos sitting in shoeboxes that would never see the light of day again if not for schemes like these. TBT is not for you 20 to 30 somethings who are simply reposting a photo you took in college 10 years ago. Isn't that true for hashtag 10 years challenge as well? Government keep asking people on AskReddit about the conspiracies they believe in so that they can do better job at hiding it. Wait a minute. FBI, bitch, you want to disappear? David Kelly didn't kill himself. Now, for those who are too young to remember, shortly after 9/11, the US and the UK decided to invade Iraq. The rationale was that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, even though the UN's chief weapons inspector wasn't convinced. A prominent UK weapons expert, one David Kelly, leaked to a journalist that he believed the report alleging WMDs was sexed up in order to give an excuse to go to war, and repeated his claims in front of a parliamentary committee. In so doing, he massively embarrassed the government because he was essentially accusing them of fabricating evidence to give them an excuse to go to a war they'd already decided to fight. 2 days later, Kelly took a huge dose of coproxamol and slit his wrist, severing his ulnar artery, on a walk in the woods near his home. The important thing to remember about the dossier on Iraq's weapons of mass destruction, and the thing that made his testimony so damning, was that he wrote it. He basically testified that they had taken his dossier and changed things to justify a war. And to that end, Tony Blair is a war criminal and should be punished as a war criminal. Governments spread wild and crazy conspiracy theories to discredit conspiracy theorists and make them look like lunatics. That way, when someone actually finds a real conspiracy, people will just go, oh, it's one of those crazy guys. Muddying the waters is an old political game, and it's being played more actively today than ever before. Mosilek secretly knows the Simpsons children are prank calling him, but is playing along with them because he enjoys hearing them laugh. Edit, holy shit, this blew up, thanks everyone. Yeah, this been a fan theory for a while among the Simpson fan community. It came to mind that women's makeup is actually secretly damaging their skin, so when they see it, they'd be convinced to buy more makeup. Edit, this blew up. Now my highest upvoted comment is about women's beauty products being a scam. Thank you all. And it used to be much worse. You know all those paintings of Queen Elizabeth I in white makeup? It was lead-based, ducking up her face and teeth, necessitating more makeup. I don't think it was malicious though, just wildly ignorant. Pretty sure it was to cover up her smallpox. I imagine makeup to cover smallpox scars was a booming industry for most of human history.